we saw the first election since the substantial political reforms that were passed in March 2021, which further limited the electoral power of the Hong Kong people. What was your reaction to the election?
Well, the election is totally meaningless, and instead of calling it election, I would call it a selection.
We all know that it's a sham election. It bears no legitimacy. It bears no elements of the democracy.
In the latest so-called reform of the Hong Kong Legislative Council election, the number of seats has increased to 90 seats. However, around 70 to 80 seats out of 90 are appointed or nominated by the Beijing regime or the Hong Kong government. So it is basically a selection.
Those so-called candidates, they have to go through political vettings and screenings.
5 stages of disqualification, framework or checking stages.
Quite many of the people from the Democratic camp, they are either in exile, people like me, or in jail.
There has been a historic low turnout for the last Legislative Council election. So this clearly shows that Hong Kongers are boycotting the election.
At the end, it was reported that the turnout was just 30.2%, 2% being blank or invalid.
Turnout for people voting for blank vote or invalid vote was historical high. They want to send a clear message to the local regimes and to the international community that the world shouldn't recognize this election as a sham. They refuse to legitimize or endorse the system. That's why they refuse to even go into the polling station.
The Legislative Council, it used to be a pathway or platform for some people who wish to fight for the democracy or civil liberties in Hong Kong to get some kind of mandate. The political system is so rigid, and it is quite often that the election in Hong Kong is quite useless in terms of resisting the autocratic CCP.
The level of democracy has gone down to an all-time low. I would say it's even lower than the time when Hong Kong was a British colony. There's literally nothing else that they can do when they're living under the fear of the oppression. They cannot organize street protests, street demonstrations. People doing that is facing national security charges and put in jails for months and years. The things that Hong Kongers now can hope for or rely on could be international pressures, international helping hands.